Yeah, what's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again with another video from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. I actually want to come to y'all with another video, man, talking about how President Trump states that terrorists will pay off America's national debt of 36 trillion. They say comparing the strategy to the economic boom during the second industrial revolution, Trump claimed that tariffs, not income tax, created the greatest wealth for the country. He said tariffs and tariffs alone created this enormous wealth for our country, the president said. He said that we move into income tax. He said we have never been wealthier during this period. He said the the import tax plan up to 20%, even higher rates for Chinese goods, is precisely the solution to escalating debt crisis when no signs of slowing down. They said the U.S. debt has reached 36 trillion. As of January 2025, the U.S. national debt is over 36 trillion, an increase of 4.7 trillion in just 18 months. This is a sharp rise from 31.5 trillion when the debt limit was suspended in June 2023. They said debt held by the public has surged, now at 28.7 trillion, according to the latest data released in November. This massive debt has far-reaching consequences for the U.S. economy. Interest rates are rising, borrowing costs are increasing, and the government's crisis management capacity is diminishing. They said Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned that the government could reach its borrowing limit as early as January 14th. If Congress does not increase or suspend the limit, the likelihood of default could occur, seriously affecting the country's credit raising and collapsing global financial markets from stocks to cryptocurrencies. To extend the timeline, the Treasury Department has begun implementing special measures. This includes rearranging funds and temporarily reducing some government internal debts. But these are only short-term fixes. By mid-2025, they will be exhausted. Adding to the drama, the federal government ran a $2 trillion deficit in 2024 due to weaker than expected tax revenues. Both individual and corporate tax revenues fell, leaving the government with a large funding gap. Critics of Trump argue that his plans for tax cuts and tariffs will only further increase this deficit. They said Trump plans to focus on tariffs ranging from 10% to 20% on imports, even higher for Chinese goods. For this guy, it's a simple equation. Tariffs protect tariffs protect American industries, generate revenue, and narrow the trade deficit. He points to the second industrial revolution from 1870 to 1914 as evidence that tariffs were effective. At that time, tariffs accounted for a significant portion of the federal revenue. David said Mark Anderson reflected on the era called it perhaps the most fertile era for technology development and deployment in human history. Trump sees this historical precedent as validation, but the economy of 2025 is not the economy of 1870. Critics argued that the world has changed and so has the risk. Tariffs are likely to raise costs for businesses, which will pass those costs on to consumers. That means everyday goods will be more expensive. Economists estimate that 10% tariffs could increase in inflation by 0.3 to 1.2 percentage points, depending on the scope of its wide application. Inflation, which had begun to cool off after peaking at 9.1 in 2022, could flare up again. Forecasts suggest inflation could rise up between 4% and 9% by 2026 if Trump policies are fully implemented. They said Trump tax cuts could also exacerbate the issue. Making them permanent could add another $7.75 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. Higher interest rates driven by inflation and tariffs will make government borrowing even more expensive. So they saying President Trump is looking to use tariffs to pay off the national debt, and we are at a national debt now of $36 trillion. So you definitely want to pay attention. But I had to come to y'all with this video, man. Spread thoughts up on this, shed light up on the situation. I felt the need to y'all had to hear this subject. Keep on liking and subscribing to my channel. Always appreciate the love. Don't forget to hit the bell to get all of my notifications. Like, share, and subscribe, and the article will be in the description box. And it's your man B Miles coming to you live once again from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. One love once again. Peace.